Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I am going to make a hand-tied bridal bouquet using the colors. So the bride's colors are Malibu blue and plum, and she wanted touches of white in the bouquet. So I decided to use, these are those unicorn hydrangeas that we've been using. It's actually a dyed hydrangea that looks like a blue antique hydrangea. They are beautiful. The wonderful part is that the blue is kind of a turquoise blue instead of a true sky blue, and it has pops of purple or pops of plum in these hydrangeas. So this is what we're going to use as the base of our hand-tied bouquet. So I've taken 3 hydrangeas. I've removed all the foliage from the hydrangeas. The reason we do that is it keeps them hydrated. They'll stay hydrated better if the water, when they drink, they don't have to hydrate the leaves. It helps them to keep the heads hydrated. So I'm going to hold those in my hand just loosely, and I am going to start by using these beautiful white roses. It's just a really pretty white, I'm not exactly sure the variety, but a pretty white rose. I'm going to take these and nestle them right down into this hydrangea. So I'm just going to take a couple and nestle them right into the hydrangea. And I'm just going to go all the way around with these white roses. And what I'm doing is I am using the hydrangea as a grid, which kind of helps me keep my flowers in place. I want this blue to show, so I'm going to do my very best not to completely cover the hydrangea. Often when I use a hydrangea as a base, I cover it with the other flowers, but today I'm certainly wanting this blue to show, so it's important that we don't cover the entire hydrangea. So I've tucked my roses in. Next I've got some Alstroemeria lilies. These Alstros are purple and plum. They have a little bit of a plum on the outside of the petals. And what I'm doing is I am removing this little bit of foliage just because it's not very pretty. So I'm removing that foliage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that Alstro and I am going to nestle it right down into that hydrangea. And I'm just removing, and I should have done this ahead of time, but I didn't. I'm going to take that and just kind of push it right down into that hydrangea and use that hydrangea as a grid to hold that Alstro. And I'm just working it slowly right down in and nestling it right there. All right, so there's my Alstros. And then next I've got these beautiful plum colored buttons. So these are a pretty plum colored button. I thought that would pull that plum. So I'm just going to take them. I'm removing all of the little foliage and a couple of the little stems that are low, and I'm just going to work them right down into that hydrangea. And just make sure you clean all your all the leaves off. And I broke one of those little Alstros. I just pulled that little stem. And it's completely okay. All right, so there we go with the blues and the purples and the whites. Next I have a few little white spray roses I thought would be pretty nestled down in. So I'm going to take these white spray roses, make sure I pull all the foliage off, and just add just a couple of stems, just because they're pretty and it's a little bit of a different texture. All right. So there we go with that bouquet. Next I'm going to take, so for the bridesmaids bouquets, they're just carrying small handheld bouquets of baby's breath. So I thought I would add just a touch of baby's breath around the perimeter of the bouquet. So I'm just taking that and just laying it right around the outside of that bouquet. Now the only reason I am not tucking it deep down into the bouquet is because I want this blue to show. It's important that my blue shows, and I'm afraid if I get too carried away with baby's breath down in there, we're not going to see that blue. Now lastly, to finish off the bouquet, I'm going to adjust my flowers just a smidge just to make sure they're where I want them to be. A lot of times I will take a bouquet and go stand in front of a mirror and just look at it and make sure that all the flowers are in the place that I want them. Next I'm going to take, this is called Pittosporum, and it's a dark green pit. It's really pretty, and I'm going to take it and just come right around the base of this bouquet. Not too much, but just to kind of finish it off. Now the reason I don't have any more of the blue in here is because this color blue is really hard to come by. Flowers don't really come in a Malibu blue, but that hydrangea worked perfectly. And so that's the reason I want the hydrangea to show. All right, so there is, you can see up underneath, there's the Pittosporum. And then there's the bouquet there. I'm going to add just a touch of this eucalyptus. Now this is called silver dollar euc. So I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to add just a little touch just to finish the bouquet. Okay, so there we go. There's our bouquet. I don't know if you can see it well, but it has the roses, the hydrangeas that have our pretty blue. It's got some spray roses, some astros, some button mums, and just some standard roses, but it's really pretty. Next, what I'm going to do is I am going to take some waterproof tape and I'm going to find the end. And I'm just going to tape the stems together. So I'm going to lay this tape right here on the stems of this bouquet. And I'm going to drop the tape. It's hard all by yourself, but we're going to get it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going all the way around with that tape, just wrapping it around and around. Now you want to wrap it, several times so that it holds it together. Okay, and then you'll just tear that off. And if you need to adjust anything, you can. You can still kind of pull things down and adjust them just a smidge. All right. So there is our bridal bouquet. And what I'll do next is I will go in and I will cut all the stems and we will wrap this bouquet with ribbon. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this white, this is a number 9 ribbon. You can use any width, it really doesn't matter. You can wrap the stems all the way down if you would prefer. I personally prefer just to cover up the tape. And the reason I prefer to do that is because I will put the stems directly in a fresh vase of water, and therefore they'll stay hydrated until the wedding. So I'm just going to take it, so you see where I've taped the bouquet right here. I'm going to take my ribbon, lay it on top of that tape, and just come around. I'm going to pull it tight. And I am just wrapping where I gathered the stems. Now I always like to take the ribbon and fold it over, and what that's going to do is give me a finished look. So I don't know if you can see it very well, but I just folded that ribbon over. Now these are pearl-headed corsage pins. And what I'm going to do is take that pin and just push it right up towards the head of the flowers. Now, that's going to ensure that my ribbon stays in place, and it's going to kind of give it a pretty finish. So it kind of looks like two little pearl buttons. But there you go. There is our bridal bouquet. Guys, thank you so much for coming here this afternoon and watching our videos. If you like this type of content, please follow our page. We're also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on TikTok. Guys, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.